Welcome. Last time we learned about the appearance and personality of Shion of Aries. In this part 2 we will continue learning about the work entrusted to him by Athena that he accomplished for more than 200 years. And if you are new to the channel, click on subscribe and activate the notification bell. No more, let's get started. Task 1743 to 1973. It is known that at the end of the Holy War, Hades was locked up with his ghosts in the 108 Meisei Tower, which is located 1,000 kilometers away from the Rosin waterfall. Shion is named Kyoko of the Sanctuary of Athena, a position he has held for 230 years until the time of his death. At that time he devoted himself to the work of rebuilding the sacred precinct and ensuring peace until the next reincarnation of Athena appears. Saint Seiya, origin. 200 years have passed. Shion is on Star Hill waiting for the first saint to arrive at the sanctuary and for a shooting star to announce it. He wakes up Kyoko, who is taking care of the waterfall in the Five Peaks, and tells him that it is not long before a baby is born somewhere on Earth and be teleported to the sanctuary. Later, Shion sees a shooting star fall towards the Temple of the Twins, but Kyoko observes that it was 3 shooting stars and one of them was Ker's bad omen. Shion arrives at the Temple of the Twins and finds 2 babies, believing that they will be the future saints of Gemini. However, Shion finds a 3rd baby, thinking that the saint of Gemini will be 3 children. Kyoko tells him that this baby was the bad omen star of Ker and that he must eliminate it, but Shion refuses since, despite being the enemy, he cannot kill a baby. The 3rd baby takes possession of one of the babies, rendering him unconscious along with the babies. Seeing that very little was missing for the next war against Hades, Shion decides to train a young man of his same race, named Mu, to make him the next Saint of Aries and guardian of the Temple of Aries. When the advent of the goddess occurs at the foot of the great statue, Shion decides to choose his successor among the 12 golden saints. As a special occasion, he could have used older silver or bronze saints for the position. To himself he mentions it, but following the tradition of choosing the next Kyoko among the golden saints, he proclaims Ioros of Sagittarius as the new Kyoko. Gemini Saga, who is also a candidate to be Kyoko, accepts his defeat and promises to help Ioros with the tasks. That same night, on Star Hill, Shion placidly observes the movements of the stars, realizing that the war would start sooner than he thought because Athena's seal was weak when it is interrupted by Saga. The Kyoko reproaches him that he is completely prohibited from entering that enclosure. However, Saga's intentions were to know why Shion did not choose him as his successor. It is there that Shion claims to have felt in the depths of Saga's heart the seed of evil. Hearing that, the Saint of Gold begins to behave strangely. His hair begins to change color, and in front of a stunned Shion, Saga takes advantage of the situation to assassinate him with a certain blow to the heart that runs throughout him. In the animated version, serious plot errors occurred regarding the character of the Kyoko, with the introduction of the character Aries in Japanese, which is non-existent in the manga. In episode 71, titled Kiru Hidoke, Kyoko no Shotai, time is running out, the true identity of the Kyoko, Mirinda Gila relates to Shion of Aries his ascent to Star Hill, in which he ends up finding the corpse of the Kyoko. The mistake is that in the manga, when Saga murders him, he clearly refers to him as an old man, although his face as an old man was never observed, always hidden under the helmet. Toei ignored that detail and presented his own version of the young pope, unaware that Kurumada would later draw him young in the Hades saga. Also, the outside story Excalibur contradicts this even more. He presents the pope as an old man, who is helped in his duties by his younger brother, Aries, who is also a silver saint. Aries discovers that Saga breaks into a day wearing the scale of Sea Dragon to attack the Pope, for which the Saint of Gemini liquidates him and takes his place posing as him. Here he does not mention that the Pope also dies assassinated by Saga. but gives the idea that he dies by natural death. This story was made with the idea of uniting and fixing the plot errors made in the anime, but what ended up causing more inconsistencies. If Aries were the brother of Pope Shion, he must have survived the previous war against Hades together with Shion and Doko himself. In the Hades Saga, 1990, once the Bronze Saints along with Saori managed to defeat Poseidon, it seems that a moment of peace and tranquility would come to the world. However, what Shion himself managed to predict moments before his death comes true. Athena's seal loses its power. The shrine is on high alert for the impending appearance of Hades and his 108 wraiths who return to life after 243 years. So that the army of Hades does not suffer any casualties during the conflict. The god of the underworld himself revives the golden saints fallen in the battle of the 12 houses, Aphrodite of Pisces, Deadly Mask of Cancer, Camus of Aquarius, Shira of Capricorn and Gemini Saga to join the forces of evil, this time as loyal wraith. However, this team needed a leader, so Shion is revived thanks to the power of Hades, granting him the youth and power he maintained in the previous Holy War. The anime also revives some of the Silver Saints who died in the Sanctuary Civil War: Misty de Lagarto, Moses de Baena, Babel de Centauro, Argel de Perseo, Capella de Auriga, Dante de Cerbero, Algethe de Hercules, Dio de Moscas Fly and Sirius. Once resurrected, the deceased saints were to pretend to be part of Hades' army as part of Shion's plan to help their goddess despite facing the consequences of being branded as traitors by their living companions. Once in the sanctuary, Shion meets Shion of Aries, his former disciple, who is unable to cope with the power of his tutor. Doko's arrival from Libra completely changes the situation once again. Face to face, Shion met Doko after more than 2 centuries. The moment Saga, Camus, and Shira hide their cosmos so as not to be attacked by Shaka from Virgo. Shion thinks that his allies are defeated, so he sets out to go up to the temple of Athena with the alleged intention of murdering her, but is stopped by Doko. Again, after more than 200 years they meet again. The situation favors Shion due to power in his youth. Doko fails to do anything and falls badly injured after receiving the Stardust Revolution. Dragon Shiryu comes to aid her master, but nothing can cope with the power of the ancient Kyoko. Finally, the Saint of Libra makes the decision and makes Mesopotaminos, state of half-death, used by the gods known, managing to return to his youth and remaining on an equal footing with Shion. It all ends in a huge explosion that completely destroys the vicinity of the Temple of Aries, produced by the collapse of the Stardust Revolution and the 100 Dragons of the Razan. Shion's cosmos, as well as that of his opponent, shut down for several hours. In the anime, both are observed in the ruins of that explosion, observing the collision between Athena's exclamations. The ancient Kyoko sets out to accomplish his mission at all costs. So he climbs the 12 temples of the sanctuary followed by Doko, who apparently was already aware of the true intentions of his former comrade in arms. He arrives at the statue of Athena encountering Seiya, Shiryu, Hyoga and Shun, who do nothing to cope with the unmatched power of the ancient Golden Saint. Athena had committed suicide to go to the underworld, so Shion never thought he would be late to achieve his objective, which was to personally deliver the Athena armor to the goddess herself. Water the blood of it on the statue, making it appear. Shion's objective in being revived by Hades was not to take Athena's head but to hand him the cloth that belonged to him to fight equally against the god of the underworld. Finally, revive the undone bronze cloths with the divine blood of Athena, making them the most powerful. Shion hands the cloth of Athena over to Seiya, giving him hope in future battles. I hope you liked this video about Aries Shion and his role in the Saint Seiya universe. Thanks for getting here and see you in the next video.